Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's Wednesday, about 3:45. Just wanted to follow up on some of the themes in last week's discussion and try and address some of those in terms of where we're going. Also, some of you felt a little unsure about the progress of where you were in making progress on your case study. Um, if you are worried about progress, please reach out to me and give me a call because I'd be glad to talk with you about it. That's what I'm here for. If, for example, you find yourself just starting to collect your data at this point, that's perfectly all right. Keep in mind, this is a classroom exercise. It's not something that's going to be published, it's going to change the world. So if you have 4 interviews and an N of 3, that's fine. You don't need any more than that. If you plan on using focus groups, I consider more than one person a group, so 2 people would be appropriate. You do not have to go out and collect a wealth of information in order for this to be suitable. Really, the purpose of this is to give you a sense of the entire qualitative research cycle, from developing a research question, to developing a proposal, to collecting and analyzing the data. You are not going to find yourself dealing with large amounts of unstructured data. So if you're concerned about where you are in terms of your progress, uh, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. And you are not imposing on me, as I've said before. You're not imposing on me by discussing these things with me. That's what I'm here for, and I enjoy doing this. A couple of you also talked about some confusion between intrinsic and instrumental case studies. Just to be clear, intrinsic case study is where you're studying a case where there is something really unique, and I use the word unique very carefully. Unique meaning is completely different from anything else that's been uncovered. So the case itself is unique. There are very few of those, to let you know. The idea of these intrinsic case studies really originated in medical literature, where a patient would present with some unusual symptoms, the phenomenon that had not been seen before. So physicians would write it up in order to share it with others to help practice. And that's still done. In fact, much of the literature in medical journals is still intrinsic. But be careful. In intrinsic study, you're looking at something really unique in that group, in that phenomenon or setting. Instrumental, on the other hand, means you're trying to understand some kind of phenomenon through the study of the group or the setting. So the phenomenon that you're interested in is really much more important than the setting. Most of the studies we do are going to be instrumental in nature. If you have a doubt, it's probably instrumental. Also, if you have a doubt, is it instrumental or intrinsic? Please reach out, call me, let me know. I'll be glad to sit down with you. Zoom, telephone, coffee at the student union is my preferred, but please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me because we can sit down and have a discussion. And actually, that's probably the best way to do it, where we sit down and talk about it, because you probably get more out of a give and take discussion than you will, which is me telling you, yeah, it looks like it's instrumental. You'll get more out of it, and I think it will help you better understand the material. So please reach out and contact me. Another couple comments referenced generalizability. I'm struggling with the term generalizability in qualitative research. I've been on a few dissertations, I've been on a few dissertations this semester where the students referred to lack of generalizability as a limitation or a weakness in their study, a qualitative study. And I usually try to remind students that is not necessarily a weakness or limitation, because qualitative research does not seek generalizability. We seek transferability, the idea of learning lessons that can be transferred to similar other settings. We appreciate that contexts can be very different from time, and place. And the lessons we learn in one study may or may not be transferable, which is why we use thick description. We describe the context of the study in as much detail as we can without compromising confidentiality of our participants. But we try and describe that context as much as possible so that someone reading it in a journal down the road can understand that context and make a determination of whether what's in your study can be transferred to their setting. I may have mentioned this before in one of the other videos, I can't recall, but say you're looking at a study of shared governance at an institution. And say the institution you're looking at is South Plains. The characteristics of the South Plains College that you would want to clearly describe is it is rural, semi-rural, mid-size, I suppose, located in the U.S. Southwest. There may be other contextual factors you want to include in there that are important. Because somebody from, say, University of Illinois, a large, enormous, research-intensive university, somebody reading that institution, trying to decide what they can learn from it, they realize there's not a lot that I can transfer from South Plain College to University of Illinois. Even more differences would be if it were a large, private, research-intensive university in an urban setting. So keep in mind that generalizability is not what we're after. We're after transferability. Now that's not to say that we can't generalize in some qualitative studies. Most of us probably aren't going to do that. But there are a few scholars out there, I'm one of them, who believes that there are rare exceptions, and I emphasize that, rare exceptions, where we can generalize from qualitative studies, particularly if we're looking at phenomena that span across time and place and culture. And I'll give you an example of this. You ever read William Shakespeare, one of the greatest writers of human history, one of the greatest writers in the Western tradition? Was a really insightful observer of the human condition, what it means to be a person, the frailties that we bring with us as a person. And these are things that cut across time and place. One can read William Shakespeare's work and arrive at some generalizable conclusions about the human condition. Now, it's not research, but it still makes some important points and observations about human beings. There are other studies, psychological, for example, in nature, that may be separated as much as we can from culture, time, place. We can make generalizations about this. Some of the work of Freud, Jung, many of the earlier theorists, B.F. Skinner, some of these lessons transfer across time and place. That makes them generalizable. That's not what we're going to be doing in most of our studies. Most of what we will do here will be of a transferable nature, it will be context-based. But we try and describe that context in as much detail as possible so that a reader will be able to make some determinations about whether they can transfer implications to their setting. So that's the difference between generalizability and transferability. We emphasize transferability because we don't generalize. It's not a limitation. It's not a weakness. We just don't seek to do that. So those are just some thoughts from last week's discussion. As usual, if you have any questions, if you're uncertain about anything at all, or if you're just wondering, am I going down the right road, please reach out to me and call me and let me know. We can talk over the phone, Zoom, coffee on campus. As I have said before, I do not get nearly enough contact with my students teaching online. And I enjoy having these kinds of discussions. And I think it benefits you when we can have these kinds of interactive discussions, because you get a lot more out of that than me just telling you, answering your question in a word or two over email. So please feel free to reach out to me. Um, I work from home mostly still. My number here is 806 928 1502. And if you call, please leave a message so I know to call you back. You're welcome to call at any time except for 3 or 4 in the morning, obviously. But other than that, please reach out to me. Be proactive in asking me questions, your doubts, etc., because that's what I'm here for. And as I've said before, I can never say enough. I love this job, and I love these kinds of direct interactions with you, so you're not imposing on me at all. All right, everyone, have a good week. Continue making progress. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. You know where to find me. I'll be in touch.